Alright guys, so Merry Christmas. Thank y'all for 500 subs. And this is the trapping tutorial that everyone's been asking me for. This video is going to be split up into 3 sections: critouts, trap types, and tips and tricks, and timestamps will be in the description. And without further ado, let's begin! So the first thing I'm going to be showing is how to build critouts, and this is because I think as a trapper the most important thing you can have is good critouts, because if you trap them and they don't die, then there's really no point in trapping them. You haven't really accomplished anything. So just let's take this fake head editor spot right here, then I'm going to dig it down. We started at around Y74-ish, Y73-ish, so from that we're going to want to dig down like about 35 blocks. So we're going to go down to like what, let's go a bit farther than normal and let's go to Y30. Like 35 blocks is about the sweet spot. So we're gonna start signing it up. You have to sign up everything, I'm afraid. That's the way, like, it's just because of the way water can flow and stuff. You don't need to put stairs across the entire thing though, just put signs. And for the first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna be doing a funnel. So this is how you make a funnel. The thing I forgot was a pressure plate. And you want to be using a stone pressure plate, not a wood pressure plate, and that's how you make a funnel. Pretty simple. Just 2 pieces of redstone, 1, 2, and the piston here. These can be sticky, they can be normal. I just have sticky pistons in my hotbar, so yeah. And now we're going to continue to dig this all the way to Y35. Quick extra note, do not put a sign in front of the pistons, because otherwise, as you can see, nothing happens. See? There we go. Okay, so we've made it to Y35. There just happens to be a geode here, which is pretty cool, and I've dug out a little area for us to crit out. And now what you're going to do is you're going to place stairs, and you want the stairs that you can crit out from, you want the stair to be facing like this so that they can't hit you back. You do not want them to be, you don't want it to be like this, because in this it's a bit like they can hit you. But if it's like this, it's a lot easier for, it's a lot harder for them to hit you. And you want to do 3 layers of stairs on each side, and I think preferably you want to try to funnel it into a 1x1. There are reasons why. I'm not 100% sure of what the reasons why are. But I know it has something to do with the dripstone mechanics and like gaps between dripstone and something, but try your best to funnel into a 1x1. So now we're going to place our signs here. We're going to place a wall here. Walls can just make it a bit more difficult for them to get out, so it's just a bit of a nuisance for them. And in case they get out, and you're gonna want to put a stair here. The stairs, by the way, are for waterlogging, because you want this, if they try to hit the MLG, the water will go into the stairs. And then you have a single piece of dripstone, which is why Trapper Kit, you really don't need too much dripstone. Like the 5 dripstone you get from like level 3 Trapper is usually enough for most people. And then we'll have our walls around here and our slabs, and that is how you build a good crit out. And I realized upon re-recording that I forgot you should place an armor stand here. This just helps with them MLGing. So in summation, what you need for a good crit out is signs across the entire thing all the way down, funnels. We taught how to make funnels, and generally you want to try to funnel it into a 1x1. That's just how it is. And then at the very bottom you want to have your stairs, and your armor stand, and your 1 piece of dripstone, and slabs and walls. And that's how you make a proper crit out. Alright, let's start with the quintessential trap, the head editor. This is what a head editor looks like. So basically, to hit a head editor, you just have to jump correctly. You have to jump at the correct time. Otherwise, if you like don't jump, or you jump at the wrong time, you're just gonna end up falling in. So here are examples of a tree head editor, a mineshaft head editor, and a head editor that's just a backup. And next up we have the backstab, where you hit people into a trap. Here's a backstab that's hidden underneath slabs. And here's Greninja getting killed by a backstab trap. That brings us to the swag feed, which is a head editor, a sideways head editor combined with a backstab. Nice little hint, you can also hide the backstab as part of a crit out. Next, probably the most basic trap, the block off. You place a block and they fall into the trap. Here's a 1x1 block off, a modern block off, and an L block off. The other really basic trap is the spleef, where you break the blocks underneath their feet. Note that the shovel that comes with Trapper Kit can insta-spleef dirt. Here's an example of a spleef inside a tree. And this is a spleef kahuna trap. Next, we have gravity traps, which are made using blocks that fall, like sand or gravel, or powdered snow. So to make a gravity trap, we're gonna have a block that we're gonna break, and then with that we're gonna shift click the signs, like so. And now when you break this block, all of it just falls. Here is a really satisfying replay mod of a sand trap. And this is probably the biggest sand trap ever made. For powdered snow, if you don't have leather boots, you just fall through. But if you have leather boots, you can just walk on top of it. Also, if you're going to do a powdered snow trap, I highly recommend getting a powdered snow texture pack. Also, if you're running this trap, dye your leather boots white so that it looks like iron armor. And here are two insane powdered snow trap clips. And now let's look at some basic redstone. If you want advanced redstone, I'm afraid this is not the tutorial for it. Piston poles can really be split into two types. Corridor poles like this one, and hill poles like this one. Here's one that does a bit of both. This is how to make alpha ladders, which is one of the simplest backups to make. Let's just put our ladders like this, and then we have two here. And now what you want to do here is break these blocks, place pistons like this, and now we're just gonna dig this all the way down. Just pretend this is dug all the way down. And then we're gonna place stone back on top, and we're gonna break these blocks over here to make sure that the pistons can push these blocks. These blocks will get pushed. So make sure to keep these blocks clear so that there will be room for these things to get pushed. And then basically to bait, when you come down, you place the pressure plates like this, and then you place blocks. And that's how you bait for alpha ladders. And basically what happens is, let's say, basically what happens is if I'm coming down ladders, I'm flying. That's what happens. And of course you have the TNT minecarts that come with Trapper Kit, which are scarily powerful. They do so much damage. You can also blow up a minecart with a flame bow. And finally, we have the classic obby trap, except in this version, you have to place a lava on both their head and their feet. Cobble walls can really help with this. Alright, now that we've covered all the different basic trap types, let's talk about tips and tricks. Trapping tip number 1. This seems pretty obvious, but your traps should be traps that you can trap people with. It doesn't really matter how complex or how cool your trap is, it is about whether or not you can trap them. So just build whatever trap you think can trap people. Trapping tip number 2. Know your stuff. There's a lot of different things that are going on in Hoplite, and you have to know everything to be the best trapper that you could possibly be. That ranges from how the world generates. In Hoplite, for example, iron blocks spawn in dripstone caves in Tough, which is like the dark gray stuff in dripstone caves. And you should also know your crafts really well, because a lot of these crafts can be game changing and they can really help you. So you should know your crafts. For example, if you put
cobblestone in a furnace, and then you use the smelter's pickaxe on the furnace with the cobblestone in it, it becomes stone. Trapping tip number 3. Make sure your trap is set up correctly. This means that you want your trap to be somewhat close to 0, maximum like 250 blocks away total. This is because you don't want like the border to eat up your trap. Use waypoints to do this. It's really convenient. You're able to run to your waypoint where your trap is, and you can see the distance from 0, 0. I'd also recommend setting up a 0, 0 waypoint, just that you can know where 0, 0 is and where you should be baiting from. You can get waypoints on Feather Client and Lunar Client, and there's like a few other mods, I believe. And you should be done with your trap close to when PvP starts. Trapping tip number 4, use toggle sneak. This means that it's basically impossible to find you when you're building the trap. I personally use a separate button for toggle sneak, separate to my normal sneak key, using Better Controls mod. Trapping tip number 5, get food. Something that I see a lot of people struggle with, even some of the more advanced trappers, is they just forget to get food and they're just like out of sprint. You can get food from a lot of different sources. You can use the furnace to smelt food with in combination with your smelter's pickaxe. So just make sure you get food. Trapping tip number 6, use the environment to your advantage. When you're building your trap, you should be looking at the environment and thinking about how you can use it to make it easier for you to trap people. Trapping tip number 7, experiment and try new things. You don't know what cool new thing you're gonna stumble across that no one else has ever stumbled across before, and a lot of new traps can like catch even the best players off guard. Trapping tip number 8, don't play scared. People will be able to tell that you're trapping if you play really scared. That being said, you don't want to be too aggressive, and you need to make sure that you stay alive, because ultimately that's the #1 goal when you're trapping. You want to be able to stay alive and use your trap. So it's a very fine balance when you're trying to bait, but don't play scared and don't play too aggressive. Trapping tip number 9, your trap should look natural and your baiting shouldn't look like you're trapping. I think this pretty much makes sense. If other people know you're trapping, they won't fall for your trap, generally. Trapping tip number 10, playing more will help you get better. That, I don't really think I need to add anything to that. Trapping tip number 11, have fun. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is just a game, and just have fun. Make sure you have fun. If you're not having fun, there's really no point in doing any of this. So just have fun, okay? Trapping tip number 12, watch other trappers to learn new things. So many trappers nowadays have such cool creative ideas, and you can really use their ideas and even help improve them, I guess, and integrate them into your gameplay. You can learn a lot from just watching other people. And there's so many different great trapping content creators out there. A lot of the clips that I used for the trap types are not necessarily mine. All their links are in the description. There's also going to be other resources, such as a few other people are making other trapping guides as well. I'll link those in the description as well. Oh, and of course, do you know who is a trapping content creator? Me! So hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.